Welcome, welcome, welcome. Checking settings, making sure the buffering is okay. We're gonna crank up our bit rate a little bit. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Start her up. Welcome to the 59th episode of the Hagwon Startup Podcast. I'm your host, Jack, located here in South Korea. Turning down the volume on my phone. The Hagwon Startup Podcast slash the Korea Podcast is one that talks about anything and everything to do with living and working in South Korea, running a business like a Hagwon, which is a language school, or a Gambubang, which is also a language school but at a smaller size. And also, talking about life general in South Korea. If you're new to this podcast, if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. It really helps out the channel create more content, and it helps me out to bring more stuff. Hoping to grow. You can consider becoming a patron if you'd like to support the channel in that way. Then you can hit us up. The link is below this video as well. And that's really it for that. Today I've got a special guest. Leigh is on to talk with me about. You're on, Leigh. Here is Leigh. Welcome.
Hi. How you going?
Good. So today,
Glad
Leigh
to be here.
Yeah, thanks, man. Thanks for coming out. Thanks for agreeing to do this. Leigh is also an expat living in South Korea, and Leigh is from Australia, and he's been here for about 5 years. Him and his wife run a Gambubang, which is, like I said, a smaller version of a language school here in South Korea. Where are you located, Leigh?
I'm in Daegu. So yeah,
Right,
I was in one of the worst cities for Corona, but yeah, I'm in Daegu. I've been here for 5.5 years, nearly 6 years. So
6 years,
we've
yeah.
had our study room for 1 year now. So
Right.
yeah.
So I don't know. Normally I start, asking people about how they got here and all that stuff. But since it is the time of the Corona, it seems reign supreme, and you are located basically in the epicenter of the outbreak that was occurring here recently, right? What was that like for you? Being
Well,
there?
it's sort of Well, me and my wife actually. We were in Australia and had our wedding in Australia, and as we were in Australia, we were hearing about a few cases in Australia and stuff like that, and not Australia, in China, and yeah, I don't know, but there was just a few cases. I didn't really think anything of it, and then as we were flying back, you could feel the tension in the airport. Everyone was masked up and yeah, and then we arrived, and Korea didn't really have any cases at all. We still heard it on the news, and then suddenly there was like a few cases, and then we just woke up late before work, and we got all these calls and messages saying we're not coming in today. Yeah, so yeah, it was pretty full on for 2 weeks. So we actually obviously closed for 2 weeks, and just panicked on what we were going to do, and then got our business online after that. So yeah.
Right. Okay. So in the last podcast with Rhett Burton, we were talking about moving our business online, and partially the reason what prompted us to talk about that was, I think, you coming on a quick a Facebook Live. And we're talking about how you moved your school online. So Could you maybe talk about that? Like, how did that go for you? Because I know that a lot of people were struggling with, trying to get their customers to move online. A lot of customers didn't want to move online. There was a lot of kind of pushback from people wanting to do that. But how did that go for you? Like, how did you find that experience moving
Well,
online?
luckily we were quite fortunate, and we did get a few people that didn't seem too keen, or they wanted to just hold back. They said, "Oh, we don't want to go online. We'll just come open next week." But then, another delay happened, and then they were on board. So what we actually did was we didn't force anyone to do anything. We took a survey first. And from that feedback, we could gauge that most people were happy to do online or just follow us, like not let their kid miss out if other kids were doing it.
Yeah.
And then we did, so we did it over 3 days. So we were hoping to open on I think it was March. So it was like the first Wednesday of March. So leading up to that, we did a Sunday night open Zoom, where we let kids come and just chat and try out the app and get comfortable. And then on the Monday and Tuesday, we did a 30-minute trial class. Well, I did all the trial classes on Monday, and my wife did all the trial classes on Tuesday. And then we weren't sure how it was going to go Wednesday. We said, so that was all free. If you'd like to join Wednesday, you can. If not, you can just come back when the school's open again. But class will be continuing as normal. And we're pretty adamant about classes won't change. They'll run exactly the same. Homework, everything like that, books in front of them. It's not going to just be a chatty class. And then, on the Wednesday, everyone came that day. So we're quite happy. At the end of the day, I said to my wife, wow, everyone came. So it means everyone's going to pay for the month, and we've got everyone online. So, we're quite happy about it, really.
Right.
Yeah.
So what sizes are your classes? Like, do you have, how many students in a classroom do you have? How many students do you keep on? You're using Zoom, right?
Yeah. So we use Zoom. I have been fortunate, and me and my wife have been fortunate, but I know that, our business model and how our school was operating is pretty suitable for Zoom. I'm pretty sure that I can see why other schools can't, or, don't think it's going to work as well as us, because we only have 4 kids in our classrooms at one time, maximum. So we tried to keep pretty speaking focused and give enough attention, give the kids enough attention, and let them have enough student talk time too. So, when we designed our school, I was pretty strong. I only wanted 4 kids in the classroom. So,
Yeah, I think that's a better number too, right?
Yeah. Well, I think it's good. But then again, business-wise, it's always could be better to have more kids in. But for what we want, we found it pretty successful. Yeah.
Sure, but I mean for conversation classes, I think having a 4 student per class kind of setup is a lot better. But I mean, in terms of space, I don't know. Gumbo bunks tend to be a little bit smaller. Are you running it from your home then, right?
Yeah, so it is. It's in our room. We've got quite a big apartment though. So I guess so what we do is we've split the house up down the middle.
Right.
So we're in the master room, and we've got the living room, kitchen, master room, and our own bathroom. And then we've put a curtain up, and then we've got 2 classrooms, like an office room for kids waiting, and a hallway in their own bathroom.
Right.
But the bedroom's actually pretty big. Like, I reckon we could probably fit 6 kids in there. Yeah.
Okay.
Easily. Or 8 kids.
Yeah.
They're about the same size as Hagwon. But we had to search quite a lot for finding a big apartment.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's what you get, man. So, I don't know. Today I've heard rumors that there may be, so right now the schools are closed until the 9th, right? I've heard of some schools opening up already, which, I don't know, surprised me sometimes, and I'm wondering why are we not open. My wife is a little bit, I run my Hagwon, or we run our Hagwon with my wife together. She's doing the directing part, I do the teaching and, the liaison between the head office.
Yeah.
And I keep wondering why it is that we're not opening up,
Yeah.
And
Well, so yeah, schools are supposed to. Well, they were supposed to open April 6th, and I guess most people were following. But yeah, obviously some schools have opened up that I know of around Daegu and other areas.
yeah, it's in Daegu, same thing. Schools have opened up.
No, public schools haven't, but some academies have.
Yeah. That's what
And
I mean.
they practice social distancing. So,
Right. Not public schools. The private academies seem to have opened up. There is a few, but there is a rumor circulating that there's going to be another postponement, which is supposed to be. So my wife kind of mentioned that she heard it from someone. We have a friend who is pretty well connected in the Mo. I don't know if he holds meetings. I don't know exactly what his positioning is, but he's somewhere in there.
Yeah.
And so I mentioned that on the group, and somebody else said that yes, that's true. They heard a similar rumor from a director somewhere up in Suwon, one of the biggest Hagwons, saying that there's going to be another postponement, which is going to carry us over to April 30th. The official announcement is supposed to come out tomorrow.
Yeah. I think we're all waiting for it.
So for Pete's sake, that's the idea, that the public schools are possibly going to be shut down until the 30th of April, right?
Yeah. So well, that's what most of our students said today that their mums had already told them yesterday and today that you're not going to school April 6th. You're probably going to be online until the end of April. Yeah. But I don't know. So I heard on the news also today that they're going to phase it in or something. I don't know. They're going to bring in the middle school students first, then high school students first, then middle school, then elementary kids, like that. So so I don't know. It's looking like the school's even going to be online. But I think most kids and parents aren't too happy about it, I guess. It's a bit of a no-win situation, right? Because if they open, they run the risk of someone getting the virus. But if they don't, they're
running a risk of just going under, man.
Yeah. It's pretty rough for everyone. So, I'm not sure. People that were holding out for April 6th, it's going to be they could be getting some bad news, I think, for another month. Yeah.
So I think we are aiming to open in 2 weeks. So we're not going to wait until the 30th. I think we're going to wait until the 13th. And then, I don't know, follow strict protocol. We thought about maybe reducing the number of times that our students are here. We've got groups of students that come here every day. So instead of having them every day, we'd probably transition it to maybe 3 times a day, and maybe just make the classes longer or something of that sort. So, kids are not traveling here every single day. So that's kind of an idea. That's an idea my wife brought up today, and I think that's maybe a good one.
That could be a good solution.
Yeah. Shizuma is in the chat. Sorry, just a second. She says, I thought the news said schools are going to be transitioned to online classes. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. So I think that's what Leigh was just mentioning.
Yeah, so that's what I've heard is the school's delayed. They're not going to have the people in there, but they're going to launch online immediately, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, and so actually that doesn't give me a lot of confidence in, the schools opening up anytime soon, because they're moving everything online now. It's taking 2-3 weeks now? And so I don't see them just transitioning back to regular classes after going through this whole ordeal of moving everything online. They're not going to all of a sudden change, go back a week later, say, okay, we're back to classes. I think I don't know. I get the feeling, like in Canada, I talked to my friend in Canada. She's a public school teacher, and she just, like in Canada, at least in Manitoba, they told them flat out to close until September.
Yeah, right.
So
It's rough.
yeah. So Korea, from my experience, does not. People are not always very straight up with what's to be done, especially when the news is kind of grayish. So I could see this, it's 2 more weeks being kind of a way of softening the blow, because I mean, if the Mo came out and said, okay, we're going to be closed until September, there would be riots in the street. I mean, people would be upset. But if it's just like, okay, 2 more weeks, then everybody's kind of hoping, but
Yeah, well, I agree with you and they've all, I don't think it's, a surprise that we hear rumors before announcements either. I think they always try and soften the blow for a few days, because every time it's been delayed, we've always heard like this person said that it's going to be delayed again, or
exactly.
you'll hear it on the news even. Yeah, so. But in Australia now, so they're just getting quite a few numbers there. Not anything extreme, but a few. Nowhere near like Korea, but they're getting up there, and they've done the social distancing rule. Everything's pretty much closed unless it's essential service.
Yeah.
So an essential service is a supermarket, pharmacy, or drugstore. Like restaurant, but they can only do takeaway. News agency where you buy newspaper and stuff like that, and farm work or construction work that's essential for the country.
Right.
All schools shut, and now the government's saying over there they've just implemented that system last week, the social distancing and shutting Australia down, and the government's saying this is going to go on for 6 months, so you should be prepared to adjust your life for 6 months.
Are you serious?
So, yeah. Like, I was really shocked when I heard that in Australia, because, the numbers weren't that high, and also, in Korea, it peaked and went down pretty quick.
Yeah.
But I think whether they're just being extra cautious or they just want to put their foot down and say, be prepared for 6 months, but the government's saying be prepared for this lifestyle for 6 months. So, we don't know. Korea could be the same. Who knows? I hope not.
I hope not. Indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have. Let me just here transition quickly. Just a view. I just have a feed of the tally of all the coronavirus reports. USA stands at 142,000 cases, reported cases. Italy 97, Spain 85, China 81, Germany 63, Iran, France, UK, Switzerland, Belgium, Netherlands. These countries just flew right past Korea. It's crazy, man. Absolutely insane in the cases reported. I'm so shocked to see what happened in the States, man. Like, wow, all of a sudden just blat.
They were pretty complacent, I think, and then I think it's pretty funny because they're always calling it the Chinese virus. You heard Trump, right? He was like the Chinese virus, and it's pretty anti-Asian at the moment. Just with the whole mood there, and now they're the highest country in the world, more than China.
Yeah.
And just, overnight pretty much, right? Like thousands and thousands overnight.
Yeah, literally, like just overnight. Yeah, absolutely right.
Yeah.
Very strange.
Yeah, pretty complacent. I think that's why Australian people have been a little bit complacent too. Like people are still going out and stuff. That's why they closed everything down. Even they've closed everything down, apparently people are still at the beaches and stuff like that. So.
In the States, I watched. I saw something somewhere. There were. I think Trevor Noah had a bit about the kids on spring break, and they were being interviewed, kind of going like, "Oh yeah, I know Corona this, but it's not gonna stop me from partying." And he's like, "Dude, man, like, what the hell are you doing?" So you got like a bunch of these university kids just freaking partying it out and literally not giving a shit of what's gonna happen. So, and within the next like couple of days, I don't know if it was because of that or other reasons, but the numbers in the States just exploded.
Yeah, just complacency, I think. Yeah.
But I don't know. What do you think? Like, do you watch or do you listen to any of the? I don't know. I don't want to call them conspiracy theories, but the alternate views of what this coronavirus is. Do you follow any of these things?
Yeah, I've read a few things and listened to a few things and stuff, and yeah, I'm not much of one for conspiracy theories. I think it's like I think it's science. It's just been a bit of an evolutionary virus. I don't think it's like a bioweapon or anything like that, or it's anything done to control the states or control elections or countries or anything like that. I think it's just a bit unfortunate that it has. Although I did see one infographic that was like every time America has elections, always a big virus happens, and it was like over the space of 20 years. I definitely hope not, because they just don't. I hope they don't try and destroy the population or people's livelihood every election. That would be a bit rough.
Yeah, because I mean, like when you think back in 2019, something similar happened just around the same time. It wasn't as long-lived, or maybe it was.
Yeah.
In 2018, right? 2018 to 2019, we had the Bitcoin boom. And in November, prices exploded, and in like late December, early January, you saw posts on, especially in Korea, like people just losing their shit because people are losing thousands of dollars, right, in the whole market. Yeah. And so in terms of like I remember hearing somebody mention the transfer of wealth. I think one of my connections on Facebook posted a link or outtake from like the budgets for the USA government and how they allocated the millions and billions and gazillion trillions of dollars into all these different areas that are completely insignificant when it comes to like treating something like the coronavirus outbreak. I don't even think that was even on the list. So
Lowest priority.
Yeah, and the amount of money that was being spent left and right is just mind-boggling, And then you've got people basically starving or not being able to feed their families while all this money is being shifted about. Like how does that make sense? So that post kind of was mentioning, the shift of wealth away from the middle class to the super wealthy. And when you really think about it, a similar situation happened in 2018. There was a lot of, what's the word? I lost the word. Scandals about South Korean politicians knowing ahead of time what's going to happen and basically cashing in big time, cashing out before the market kind of plummeted and making thousands of dollars, right? And because of the cryptocurrency market is so volatile, it's such a small market, big companies can come in and basically manipulate it by investing so much cash, artificially inflating the prices and then taking everything out and, making
pulling it out.
And making, huge benefits, reaps. Profits. And it's almost like, this is kind of, it's obviously a different crisis, but it's the same. Like the effect is similar on small businesses, right?
Yeah, definitely. I think that now that small businesses are the ones that are hurting the most.
Yeah.
Big business will always be big business, but it's always the small people that always cop it the worst. The low income earners in history, they've always copped it the worst, but in situations like this,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit unfortunate. Yeah. So, what do you think about moving forward with your business? Like, some people are talking about social distancing once they open up and stuff. Is that possible? Is that feasible for your school?
Well, we've got large classrooms, so I guess, I don't know,
Yeah.
maybe we could measure out
Yeah.
with a tape the distance between students and like, I don't know, I think students
Hmm.
themselves, kids will be a little bit more cautious. I would imagine that, being cooped up in the house under the parental supervision for the past month, it would have
Hmm.
instilled some kind of awareness in them. I know my kids, like my daughter particularly, is not too keen on going outside. She is a bit hesitant about being in public places. So
Yeah.
like she's only 10 years old, but she is affected by the whole atmosphere. So I would imagine that most kids coming into Hagwons will be exhibiting similar symptoms. If you want
Yeah,
to
definitely.
cautionary symptoms.
Yeah, I think most kids still, they're still not ready, and they still like they know it. They even think it's more serious than I think. I think it's pretty safe to go out nowadays,
Mm.
and when I tell them that I've gone to the park or gone out or they're, wow, really? Like,
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, we go
yeah.
out to
But
parks occasionally, not too often, but yeah.
yeah, my park is packed every day. I go out every day, to get fresh air. I'll lose it if I don't. But
Mm.
some businesses here around my neighborhood anyway, they're starting to adapt and change their models a little bit. They're doing a lot of more takeaway and less seating and stuff like that. But yeah, one of our gyms is open, but they do social distancing in there like that.
How does that
So
work in a gym?
well, you got to wear it's pretty hard. You got to wear a mask,
While you
and
exercise?
yeah, it's pretty
Shit.
hard, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
You've got to rest a bit more, and yeah, you feel pretty puffed at the end. But and you got to try and keep 2 meters away, hand
mm.
sanitizer, wash, no towels and stuff like that, and yeah. Temperature checks at the start. They take your name and your address at the start to know who's gone in and gone out. And apparently, maybe I guess they've got to report that to somewhere. Yeah.
Right.
But I think now, man, I really don't think life's going to won't go back to normal in Korea and all over the world. I think this is pretty serious. I think it's there's just going to be life pre-corona, and then we'll know life post-corona. Like,
Yeah.
I think everything's going to change.
I
Yeah.
agree absolutely because even for me, like mentally, I am not. I don't think that the virus is that severe, but a part of me is extremely cautious about where I go and how I move. It's almost like my psyche
Yeah.
has shifted the way the way I think.
Yeah.
So, like to answer your
Yeah.
question on whether it's possible in a school here, yeah, we're gonna have thermometers, and so the goal is to like check every kid that comes into the school. Once we open up, everyone will have to have masks, and we'll probably have hand sanitizers in every single classroom for the kids and for the
Yeah.
staff.
Uh-huh.
We'll probably, I don't know, yeah, Christ. But I think the one thing that I really consider, and this is something that I'm working on, Red
Yeah.
Burton is actually way ahead of me and way ahead of many of us, I think, on that, in moving his school online. Like he's been
Yeah.
uploading his content, and I can see that he's working tirelessly at it. He's moving forward very quickly, and I think that's what you need to do. So I've started that as well, and I'm
Really?
working on moving my content online as well. Right now, we are in the process of setting up an website, an online existence, and then once I see the prototype of what it looks like, then we're going to begin to uploading the content and actually making it usable. And it's just a quick fix because it's not going to be 100%, but I mean just having that presence online and being able to monetize in some way will give us the kind of foot forward and then from then you can continue developing, and that's the idea. Like I remember a friend of mine, before starting a business, basically he said sometimes, like in business, you just sometimes have to take a leap of faith and just do it. Like you can't wait for the perfect moment, and this is kind of an example. You can't really wait for the perfect moment, and I think it's really important for people to start looking for alternate sources of income. Because
definitely.
Because if you are in a position where you have to rely on a brick and mortar business like ours, and it's not even a store, because I mean stores are quite functional. If you're selling food, you're very well positioned right now. If you are catering to clients, like if you're providing a certain service like a gym or a Hagwon or private learning institute, then most of us are in a position like our Hagwon. We're basically screwed if we don't create another source of income. If we don't move our presence online, then that's it. Like it's the end. Game over, baby.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. You gotta adapt or die in these situations. I think it's a little daunting, but I guess for everyone, I mean, I haven't really done much, but I mean, for everyone, I guess just getting the start and just slowly doing something to maybe move into a different business or just shift your business a little bit, your business model. I think it's definitely worth starting. And I guess it's just like when you start up a business, no one really just opens straight away with everything.
No,
You've got to slowly build on that. Yeah. So, I think, the sooner it gets done, the better. But, I'm not sure. Like, and in this situation, I think we've probably accelerated life and technology quite a bit ahead, actually. I don't know. Most people think that online it's not that popular and stuff, but I think, of course, there's going to be still quite a lot of people that once this situation dies off, the demand for online is still going to be there quite a lot. Especially now people have sampled it and, they've had to do it out of necessity. They've probably got a bit more accustomed to it now. So, it's pretty trying times, man. Yeah. So, and we've only been open for 1 year. So, I mean, I guess we're not even sure if our business stuff or the stuff we brought we're ever going to use again. Who knows what's going to happen? Yeah.
Right. So, do you have another source of income to fall back on?
Well, it's still teaching based though. So me and my wife, 2 days a week, we do private classes, which we're still doing online, which is good. That's just one-on-one.
Right.
So that's kept everything up too. So we didn't take too much of a big loss, really.
Yeah.
But I don't know what else I would do in Korea, to be honest. I don't think I could do anything else in Korea. So if this situation goes on and the online doesn't continue or something like that, I'm not sure what I'd do in Korea because I'm not sure I'd be capable of doing anything else.
Right. Yeah.
I'm sure I'd find something. When you need money, but not off the top of my head.
Yeah, necessity breeds invention or creativity, however it works. I forget the expression, but
makes the best.
My wife today was talking about whether she should start learning marketing. I kind of snickered, but I'm like, go for it. Whatever, if you've got time on your hands and you can, then go for it. Whatever it works. Whatever works. Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of I guess there's a lot of ways to do, but everything takes some time. Everything takes time, and nothing happens overnight. So people need like a very quick fix right now, which is very hard to do. Because going from like having everything to nothing and then trying to create something again, it like I said, it takes time. And whether you want to sell on Amazon or whether you want to I don't know, do marketing or any other type of source of income online, you know? I mean, if it was easy to do, then people would be doing it all the time, but that's the whole idea. Like, we're all bound to our brick and mortar business. And then
That's right.
you know, that's the reason why
And
we're
the
doing
reason
it,
we got into
because
those businesses is we had the experience and the knowledge prior, you know, like years prior before we just started this. So yeah, it could be it's a bit daunting for everyone. But yeah, listen, I don't know what's going to happen in the future of education or career. Career is always pretty progressive with education and stuff like that and moving forward. But at the same time, I think sometimes career can be the most progressive and most advanced, but in some areas it's like quite behind,
yeah.
especially with mentality, I think, like that. Yeah. So yeah, I think what we're going to do is just continue with online, obviously. But we're getting to the point where we want the kids back now. I was pretty happy with online, but my wife definitely wants the kids back. And I want to get out of the house on Tuesday, Thursday too.
Do you have children of your own?
No. We don't have children now. So it's just us two. So saving grace has been like a lot of PlayStation and stuff like that. So it's been good.
It makes life a lot easier.
Yeah, you definitely got to have your own thing to do, especially when you have business together. My friend in Australia, he runs a business with his wife. And yeah, he's always got tips like don't check your wife's work and just leave the house if you're getting angry. Don't fight about things. You cool off and stuff like that. So yeah.
Yeah, when it comes to working with my wife, we don't really have, I mean, we do have friction, but like our jobs are so, hey dad, I'm dad. One of my subscribers called me dad, and I was like, wait a minute, because it's kind of like the oppa thing, whatever, in Korean, right? And I'm like, hey, I'm not an oppa, but yeah, I am a dad. I got 2 kids, so shit. But so this person says, don't lose your great brave. Don't stay strong or whatever, I guess, if you want to translate it. Hope things will turn around soon. Yeah. You and your family will overcome the situation well. Thanks, man. I hope that everyone can overcome it, you know, because it's not a very easy situation. If you are new here to the channel, just to bring the point home, if you're new to the channel, if you are just listening in or stopping by, make sure to hit that subscribe button, subscribe to the Live in Korea channel, because it helps being supported. Also consider supporting us on Patreon. The link for that is also below the video. And yeah, I hope that everyone gets over it. Because even Lehman, like, he's doing all right online, but even he's fed up with that, man.
Yeah.
And I personally, I feel horrible for our teachers, man. We've got teachers that basically have not been paid because we've got no money to pay them. We're not getting paid. We've got nothing coming in, and you know, I've seen some people online, you know, commenting about how Hagwons expect their teachers to do this and do that, but then when stuff like this happen, there's no support from the Hagwons. Well, Hagwons don't get any support either. Like, I wish I could be paying IE teachers even part-time, but literally, like, it's virtually impossible, man. Like, I'm seriously starting to get worried, and it seems like the opening times for classes is being postponed every single time. It's coming up 2-3 days ahead. No, wait 2 more weeks, you know? So.
Well, I didn't think they were going to delay it this time because we didn't hear anything. So, like, normally they announced it 1 week or 2 weeks before, right?
Right.
So I didn't think they were going to do it, but it looks like they're going to do it. It's a bit rough. I think, I don't know, like, some of the teachers, I guess they just can't, the younger teachers, I guess, that are complaining, they can't see the situation. I think I was like that when I was 20. Like, I was really like, boss treats me bad. And, and, you know, like, he doesn't care about me and stuff like that. But once you're a bit older and you know how business actually works, it's, you know, it's unfortunate that these situations happen, you know.
Yeah.
And there's not much guidance. on what you can do. Like first it's illegal for online, and then it's legal to do it, and then I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. If you weren't able, okay, so I ask you, like, let's say if you weren't able to teach any longer, what would be a means of income that you'd be looking at? Just to, like, I don't know, shoot some ideas back and forth. What kind of income sources would you be looking at in order to provide for your family? If you couldn't teach, so no privates and like not able to teach online. What are we looking at here? You're like, oh shit, nothing. There's nothing.
Yeah, maybe working in a convenience store.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I was a chef in Australia.
Okay.
So I could do cooking or something like that. But then that's not really going to go too well in Korea, I think. So I'm not sure. I might have to go back to Australia or something like that, which I would hate to do. But I guess there's an option of doing being a chef again, but falling back to what I know. But I don't know. I'd maybe look at starting another business, like maybe a cafe or something like that. But cafe is saturated. I'm not sure. I think being English speaking is definitely limiting me here quite a lot. Overseas, definitely limits options. Yeah. I guess I could slowly look at streaming or something like that, YouTube, something like that. But then again, it would take time. Yeah.
Yeah, YouTube is it's a tough area, particularly for. I think I don't depend on the content. Depends on the content that you make. If you there's certain niches that do very well, but overall there is a very small percentage out of the thousands upon thousands of people who are uploading every day, and there's something ridiculous like 56,000 watch hours uploaded to YouTube every single minute. Like it's a ridiculously high number, and some of the content is really, really bad. Some of it is really great, but just the fact that there's so much of it uploaded, makes it so much more difficult to break through the curtains of all the stuff that's out there already.
Yeah, I think it's also like a what's that? The elevator's nearly at the top floor now with YouTube too. That's why it's so hard for people. Yeah, it's hard to break into it. Yeah.
It is. Yeah. And again, it depends on the content. Bruno says, great chat. Hey, Bruno, welcome. I've seen some YouTubers, I find it seems that travel videos, if they're made in a decent way, they seem to be doing quite well. I've known some YouTubers that have started within my time on YouTube and have literally, rocketed to stardom. And I have seen some other YouTubers who have been doing content for a similar amount of time as me or a little bit longer, and are just slowly crawling along. And just recently, I watched a girl. She's Thai. She was making videos in Thailand, and then just recently she moved to the States with her boyfriend. I guess her boyfriend's American. They moved and they started making videos in South America, in Peru. And I see her channels, her videos are just getting bombarded with views. I assume, usually like for YouTube, when the thing on YouTube is to make connections. When you go out and make connections, whether you interview people out on the streets, or if you travel and you make connections, or you provide content that is interesting or of interest to specific audience, then you're looking, at a winning strategy. Like there's one YouTuber who started making videos about the former Soviet Union, and he travels throughout old Russia and makes videos like that. And he started his YouTube channel around the same time as me or a little bit later, and is like well over 1 million subscribers right now.
My wife's always saying that when we get into the next phase of life or something, she calls it something, that that experience is going to be the most in demand and most needed thing for people, because nowadays, like, that's why, like, travel and, like, eating a certain food or going to a country, people just want to know about that, like, that experience, like that. Yeah. So
Yeah. I heard one YouTuber say that in order to start a YouTube channel, a successful YouTube channel, it'll cost you about $20,000. And that's basically the ticket of travel. So to get everything set up and then travel and then basically create the content, and it'll be about $20,000 to do that. So, if that's if you're young and free and you've got the cash, then maybe that's the route you'd want to take, because it might not be a bad one, I certainly wish I had started YouTube 5 years ago, or even sooner than that, when I first came to Korea. But that's not, that wasn't really my thing, When I look back, the reason why I started making videos for YouTube is because I literally wanted to start documenting my existence in Korea, because I realized that all the videos and all the clips and pictures that I take of my family and our life here, they're all bunched up on like a 4 or 6 terabyte hard drive that is just, it's a mass of 4 terabytes of stuff. I'm never going to be able to filter through it, it's just data sitting there on a hard drive. So I started making the videos to kind of be able to siphon through all this stuff on my phone quickly and make something that I can look back on and be like, okay, this is what happened.
Yeah, you'll be able to do that, and share it with other people.
Yeah, exactly.
What do you think? So, sorry, just back to starting up and stuff like that. With like your startup, what do you think is the most important thing when it comes to starting up and keeping successful in your business?
Right now, you mean overall? Prior, so
no, overall, I'm talking in the past, because it's hard to gauge.
Yeah, exactly.
What's the best thing to do right now?
Well, in that case, like you just, like I said, starting a business it takes a leap of faith. You can't have everything planned to the T, because there's no way that you can predict everything that will happen ahead of time. Just like right now, we opened up this business. We didn't know COVID is going to hit and we're going to go like into near bankruptcy. So, but when we were opening up our school first time 3 years ago, almost 4 years ago now, it was very daunting, because I've never done that before. My wife had run a small business before, kind of out of an office still. She had a aromatherapy shop. And so, but this opportunity came along, and I thought, you know what, I want to do this, because I've never done it, and I simply wanted to do it, because I thought if I don't, I'm gonna kick myself. I'll be kicking myself in the ass later on, thinking like, why didn't I, And so with the little knowledge that I had, which was like virtually none about running a business and how to go about starting one, we basically started, tinkering together with this and that, and it was like, okay, we got to find a place, and oh my God, where is this place going to be? How is it going to be designed? What are we going to put inside? And the paperwork. Oh my God, where do you, and basically just
there's a lot of things you think you got everything organized and planned, but little things pop up, right?
Exactly, and so you can't like.
You don't even think of.
Yeah, you can't plan everything out. You just need to start doing things one at a time and just keep moving the thing forward. So basically, like two people who are successful in business told me, just start doing it, and improve on it, continue improving upon it as you move along. Don't wait for things to be the right timing, because the right timing may never come. I think my professor...
Definitely.
Like when I was in uni, I was in a creative writing course, and my prof then told me something that didn't really clue in, but it makes sense now, retrospectively that I'm older. He said, when you write, because being a writer is always kind of fantasized romanticized by people, particularly like myself. You know, I want to be a writer. I would like to see my book published on the bookshelf somewhere. And it's kind of like a romanticized profession, right? To become a writer, being a published writer. And so the idea is of, you know, you have a writer who sits at a desk and like, you know, just types a manual like a maniac. But my prof basically said writing is just like any other job. You have to make yourself get up at certain time. You go to work, whether that's your desk in your house somewhere, or you know, whatever it is, a bench in the park. It's your job, and you have to treat it like that. And oftentimes you will wake up and wish you never started doing it, but it's your job. You have to do it. You will have days where you love it, and you will definitely have days when you hate it. But the point is, you need to continue doing it and basically chiseling away at it. If you want to accomplish something, you know. And he said,
definitely,
the muse doesn't exist. There's no such thing as a muse. You know, it just might never come. So if you're going to wait for the muse, you will never accomplish anything.
Yeah.
So
some days, you know, some days in a day of the week, you know what I mean? Like, you're just going to start. I'm lucky my wife, she was quite pushy about starting the business. So I said, maybe we'll do it next year. I wanted to do it, but she's like, well, nothing's going to be different next year, so we'll just do it now. Because I wanted more money and, you know, more security or whatever. But she said, well, you know, it's not going to be like that next year. Nothing's changed, or it could be worse. So we'll just start it up now. So I think starting's definitely the biggest part in having the research. I think also, man, knowing what your business is. I think I talk to not only a lot of people in the academy industry or English education industry, but any business. I think a lot of people struggle to even know what their business really is. I think that's where some people don't have success. Like I was talking to a guy at a bar one time in Korea. He was an academy owner. I was talking with another teacher, and I was talking at the time. I was just doing full-time privates because I'd left my kindergarten jobs. And he was like, "Oh, you know, full-time privates, they're useless. They don't educate people. What I do and what I own a Hagwon, that's how people get educated." And then I gave him a bit of a spiel, like, well, at the moment I'm doing the same kind of things, level tests and, you know, level tests. You know, I've got plans. I'm hoping to progress the person to this level, and I've got aims for the month and whatever. What do you do? And he couldn't answer my question. So I was really confused at that time why he couldn't answer. And he actually said to me, I know what you mean, but I can't answer your question. I need a few minutes to think. And so a lot of people I speak to with their business, they don't identify what their actually business is. Listen, I don't know if I've been super lucky with how successful our study room's been. I think it's a bit of everything, like catching lightning in a bottle. But I think definitely knowing what your business model is and location has definitely been the best for us. I think location is definitely key too.
Oh, absolutely.
And waiting out for the right place too. We actually applied for this house, like 5 times before we got accepted to get the lease on it because we're renting too. But we traveled around our city quite a lot to like 10 different locations trying to look for apartments and places close to schools, and we finally found it, and then just kept pestering our landlord to accept us to move in. So she finally let us do that. So good,
yeah, I think location is very important. And especially like if you have, so for us, for example, I've had people calling me, asking me whether we're going to open up another Shane Hagwon in a different neighborhood, because like the word got around. You know, we have a very specific focus for our curriculum, and we opened a franchise. Like we sold a franchise, and so a new school, Shane School, opened up in the neighborhood, and so like literally a couple of weeks later, somebody that I know called me asking me if that's my school. I said, well, it's our franchise. It's not my school. It's a franchisee.
Yeah.
And she was asking whether we're going to open another school in her neighborhood because, so having that name, basically, and finding a location that is kind of family friendly, and like you said, if you find a very good place, then you're golden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you are the franchisee. You're the owner, right?
Yeah, franchisor. Like we're the master franchisor for Korea for our school.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Because I've always thought about like that with Hagwons and stuff like that, where you can be successful. Like yours, obviously, successful, going well. But then I've heard of other franchises that open, and because it's not the same team or they don't have as much guidance, the other franchises failed, even though they've been quite close to each other.
Yeah.
What do you think that's possible? Or do you think the franchise just brings the people in initially?
Sorry, one more time, please.
Sorry. So, I've heard of some franchise, they sublet their franchise.
Yeah.
And then some people, it's obviously not the same team, not the same people and stuff like that. So they're not as successful as their other franchise that they've got it off.
I think there'd be several things coming into play. From what I understand here, so I think you need to have a curriculum, an actual program, something that you can mainstream, so to speak, right? And then just basically monitor and run according with it. Just like McDonald's, right? McDonald's is a system, and it doesn't matter where it opens up, it's always the same way of making food.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Hagwons, the English language business is in a similar position. And from what I hear, most of the language schools around here don't actually have a proper program in place. Like literally, I've heard of businesses that sell, and it's mind-boggling that people actually pay for that. There is a franchise here, without naming any names, sold a franchise for $100,000, okay? Whether that was legal or not was questionable because you need to be registered as a franchising business in order to sell a franchise. And if you're not, then you're technically not doing it legally. My wife kind of poked about and she says she can't find that particular business in the franchising register. That aside, this place was sold for $100,000, okay? And we talked to the people who purchased the franchise, and his franchise idea consisted of a 3-month-long training on how to teach, his methodology. But he had nothing. There was nothing in terms of books, materials, absolutely nothing. So basically he sold 3 months of training and the name of that, franchise for $100,000. That's it.
Yeah.
And I'm going, what? Are you serious? What do you...
Please let me know this person, man. I'd love to know how to do that.
I know. So, and then, I've interviewed teachers who came here trying to work for us. And, I'm saying we have a program, we've got books, we've got curriculum. You're going to have to follow this and this and this. And everything's laid out for you. You've got books, you've got teacher's guides. And literally one teacher went out running because she was so overwhelmed. She looked at the contract. She was like, oh my God, what? I have to do this and this and this. I'm like, yeah, what do you do in your Hagwon right now? Oh, I read books to children. I'm like, okay, but what is the program? I'm like, I don't know, we use these books or that books. I'm like, that's not a program. That's just a Hagwon owner going into a bookstore, buying a bunch of books and then using it, I could go and buy Let's Go or American Headway and just use that, right? So it seems like a lot of Hagwons either use materials that are, series that are purchased from the bookstore, and then just create their own supplementary material. And it's fine if you do that for a small Hagwon, but if you claim to be a large-scale business, which basically like the area in which we're located, that's the majority of the schools. They claim to be these large-scale businesses that are opening left and right and, selling this and that mentality of greatness. But really, essentially, they've got nothing in terms of subsistency, in terms of their own program, which is very, it's very strange to see, you know. So
Yeah,
if
I'm amazed how some still make money, but
yeah,
I think some customers, they don't really know too much about education, so they're just looking for the name, or B, yeah, they just, I don't know, they're happy with what their children says that it's fun or something like that, or they follow friends. I don't know. In our area, we've got quite a few because it's a new area. We've got quite a few Hagwons and Gossip. And I'm not trying to brag or anything here, but some of our students' parents went to some academies for their younger kid because we teach the oldest, but we're full now, so we can't take the youngest. And they said, "Oh yeah, your oldest goes to this place next door English. We don't teach like that." But out of all the academies around here, we're the best, except next door English. So it's like our academy, the rest of down here, she was saying we're like just here.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
So
yeah,
but to like answer your question that was on, you know, how does that affect, you know, having a franchisee, whatever. So if you have a program that basically is mainstreamed and you have levels and you have the appropriate guidance for teachers and directors, then it should be just a matter of training people, introducing them to the program, training them on how to use the program, and then giving the program to them so they can implement it in their school. And there should be no other problems. And like basically, you know, that's what we did with our first franchisee here. After the 3 years of being in place, we introduced, we put the new franchisee director through training, we put the teachers through training, we gave her the program, and, you know, the expense that it cost her, whatever it cost her to, in terms of, you know, in expenses to open the business, she recouped it twice over within a matter of 6 months, like without exaggeration. She was back in profit after 6 months of having dropped, you know, a nice amount of coin on purchasing the licensing for the business and you know, the other costs that are involved in opening, you know, finding location, rent and all that stuff. And it's because people already knew about our school and they know the franchise, they know what's expected, what's done. So unless you have a completely incompetent person who's running the new school, who like somehow managed to fumble completely the program that's already given to them and that's, you know, essentially on autopilot, then, you know, you're fine, you're good to go. So there shouldn't be, in terms of like if we, for example, my wife and I stepped aside and we hired people to do the business for us, I think you're always running into risk of losing some clientele, right?
Yeah.
Because if there's a, you know, shift or change in management or whatever, there's always some people who rely on the head teachers or whatever, or the business owners. And if the business owner changes, then, you know, the clientele will also change a little bit. So.
Yeah. I think that's one of the problems in Korea actually, is that with Hagwons, especially with some schools, even Gosimsos and stuff like that, the people just buy into it, just looking at it as a business because they just see numbers and figures, and they don't have any idea about education or even what they should do with following stuff. And that's why I think you see, well, I don't know, where I used to live, there was always academies closing down and reopening or changing management and stuff like that. So I worked in a few of them too, unfortunately.
Yeah, it could be that, you know, a lot of, like you say, a lot of people are just, you know, I've met school directors, English Hagwon directors, who didn't speak a lick of English or had very limited English, right? And like, how does that work? How are you, you know, English school director when you don't actually even speak the language? It's kind of, it's weird. It's like selling cars and not knowing anything about them, right? Like, it doesn't work. You need to know stuff. So,
well, I think they're just looking at a business being run on autopilot. You know what I mean?
So exactly. They look at it as a business, and then, you know, try to find ways of how to make more money rather than on how to provide a program that is good, that will eventually sell itself, right? Because if you do have a good program and it's solid, then you don't need to figure out ways on how to attract people to your business, because the program should do it itself, right?
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
More or
I
less.
think results, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, you still need to advertise, but if you have a good solid program, people will notice that. And in Korea is very big on the word of mouth, right? Like most of our clients, I think we got from recommendations and talking to people and people telling other people. I know for a fact that we've had a lot of people kind of saying, wow, Shane is great, we like this program, come on down, But if your program is shite, then obviously people just don't do that. So
Yeah, I think we're lucky. Like we had some, we had our first few Sungdams or meetings where we hadn't even taught anyone. We were new to the area. We're just lucky we had some mums come in that knew a lot of people, and they were impressed by our first Sungdam, and they told all their friends. So we got nearly full before we even opened. Yeah, it was pretty good, pretty lucky. Yeah, definitely. I think program speaks for itself, and word of mouth experience for sure. Yeah,
absolutely. For those who don't know what Songdam is like an intake interview, right?
Consultation, I guess.
Yeah, consultational interview, intake interview.
Yeah. When they want to sign up for your school. Yeah. So, I think definitely location and program, definitely the strongest thing. And I think once the kids are in, the hardest thing though is maintaining them. I guess anyone can get a school and have people enroll, but whether you can keep them enrolled is the hardest thing. I always hear about a lot of people that go up and down in numbers. Fortunately, we've only gone up and stayed full. We haven't, what do you call it? Gone up and down. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very different for gombubangs. I think overall people have different expectations from gombubangs than they have from like Hagwon businesses. There is a small number of people, of clients that we have had for a long time. There's a small group of people that we've had from the very beginning. There is a small group of people that we've kind of welcomed and managed to retain for a much shorter period of time. But there also is a huge number of people that came and left. And I think part of it is because we are located in the area that we're located. It's actually not very well suited to what the service that we provide. And I know it's weird to say that, but the location where we are is very much focused on like middle school, high school testing programs. And we are a flat out speaking program. And, we've had like groups of students leave our Hagwon when they started getting to the, beginning of middle school programs. Because the bulk of our curriculum is focused on elementary school levels. And, we do have like a junior IELTS program, but I find a lot of Koreans are not very familiar with IELTS to begin with. And so having that program introduced to them doesn't really cover the aspects that are required for the university, for the Sunung, for the university entrance exams, right? And so we had bulk numbers of students leave right at the onset of their middle school years because they needed to go to a Hagwon, to a cram school and start preparing for those exams and all that stuff. So like
I think definitely there's people are looking for different things, and the most common one is always people outgrowing the place, especially when they're later elementary. Even we've had some kids here that have just been here for there's 2 kids who are just here for 7 years old and then moved on to a big Hagwon, and then I'm pretty sure. My wife was upset today. It's funny we mentioned this. Apparently, she talked to some students' parents today. They just started with us, their first grade, and they said that they're going to go to a real Hagwon when they're like in grade 3 or 4.
Right.
So yeah, I think definitely outgrowing and moving on is definitely when you start to the numbers go up and down.
Yeah.
But I think replacing those numbers is probably the most important. Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
Man,
of course.
I'm just hoping that we can bring our regular clientele back sometimes within the next 2 weeks, because I don't know.
What are your expectations with that?
I have no idea. You mean like how
Like
many
50%,
how many people will
70%?
return?
Yeah.
I don't know. We're just today I heard like so we're restarting our kindergarten program this semester, and some people paid in advance, like well in advance, but you know the kindergarten program didn't take off because shit hit the fan, so to speak. Pardon my French. And so there is one person who asked for a refund right now, which basically she said, I don't know. Like parents of especially little kids, they're not very certain of whether they actually want to send their kids to kindergartens. And, quite frankly, if I had a 5 or 6 year old who wasn't actually in elementary school yet, and I didn't have to send them to a school, would I? Probably not. So I don't blame these parents to be like, sorry, this is not a right time for me. I'm going to withdraw my registration with you, because why put my kid at risk, unnecessary risk, if they don't have to be outside in public places, right? So I think there may be a fair number of people like that, particularly in this area. They are quite well off. Either one of the parents works or both parents work and they have good jobs. If one stops working and the other one continues, it's not a big financial loss to them. And, when schools move online, then their kids don't technically need to be exposed to the risks of being around, larger crowds of children, so having them at home will be just fine. So I don't know. I have no idea what to tell you in terms of numbers. How many do I expect to come back? I'd have to talk to my wife, man, because she's got the finger on the pulse. Like, she talks to the parents all the time. She sends them homework to the children and stuff. But
I reckon there's definitely some people that are dying to get back, but I think there'll be other people that'll come back slowly over time.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I think it's very important for like people like myself, in our shoes, to really try to find another source of income, whether it's bringing your school online or some other way of monetizing whatever it is that you do. Udemy, creating online courses. I don't know.
You need to franchise another school, man.
Yeah, you need to start doing it, because I get the feeling that, this is not going to go away very quickly. And if at all, I could see a similar scenario repeating itself next fall, next winter, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard a few. You've heard the theories, that there's going to be second waves and stuff too in China and Korea.
Vaguely.
If people get complacent and stuff. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. People will start dropping masks, and things will hit hard again. Yeah. Okay. I came across that.
Yeah. I've heard theories of that. I don't know if it's ever going to go away, man. Maybe a lot of people think the virus is always going to be around now, just like the cold and flu.
Yep.
So I don't know, because I'm not sure how it leaves the body. Like, once it leaves someone's body, I don't know, and it stops spreading, it's just gone? Or I don't know exactly how it works. Yeah.
I've heard stuff about mutations, that there are mutations, and I don't know how they mutate, but even the WHO, and some people say that the WHO is the evil incarnated, right? But it's the main source of like health information right now, and that's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But with them, it's always flip-flopping. So maybe I don't know how reliable they are, of a source they are. Just to take ibuprofen, for example, right? There was an announcement released by the WHO saying, do not take ibuprofen because it's bad for you. It's really bad in combination with the coronavirus. And then a little while later, they retracted and said, no, it's okay to take ibuprofen. And now today I heard somebody post saying that this was a man talking, that his friend is a physician in the States, and he said after working with coronavirus patients over the past 2 weeks, he said to not use ibuprofen when you have the virus, because all the people who died in his care had ibuprofen in their system. I don't know how many people died. I don't know what the numbers were. So, like, when I heard this bit of news, again, I don't know where the source came from. I don't know anything else about it, so I didn't really, I take it with I take it with a grain of salt, because again, that's just information that's out there, and it could just be a meme with a guy in a tie type deal,
So someone that's got that owns paracetamol and not ibuprofen.
Right. So there's just so much information, so much conflicting information that's out there. It's really hard to.
Yeah, I think some of the research isn't there yet either. Yeah.
And then
and hopefully.
I don't know if you follow like Serpent Zade and Lao Wai, these two fellas. Have you heard of these guys?
No, I haven't.
Serpent Zade is a South African dude who lived in China for a decade. His wife's Chinese. She's a physician. They both moved to the States now. And Lao Wai is also a dude. He's an American kid who lived in China also for 10 years. So combined, these two guys have been living in China for 20 years. They speak the language fluently. They speak. What is it? Which one is written? Mandarin or Chinese? One of them is written, right? Anyway.
Mandarin. Well, I know Mandarin and Cantonese.
Cantonese, okay, Mandarin. Sure, yes. So
I think it's.
Anyway, they speak Chinese. Whether it's Mandarin and Cantonese, I don't. Sorry, I'm a bit backwards on that one. Pardon my ignorance. And both of their wives are Chinese, so they're guys who are involved. Like they're not just douchebags, bashing China for whatever reason. They love the Chinese people. They hate the CCP, and basically they keep reporting. They make videos, YouTube videos about what's happening. Serpent Zade's got a lot of connections, I guess, in China still. A lot of physicians, because he's a relatively big YouTuber, and he reports about things, and so I guess people feel that they can rely on him to kind of share the information that they may not be able to share themselves, under the guise of the CCP. So he gets a lot of feedback, and both of them are saying, man, things are not good in China. This virus is serious, and it's not to be taken lightly. So, I don't know. Who knows? It's
hard to, you're not sure what comes in and out of China too. Because they always hide stuff like that. It's a bit one. I don't know. See what happens.
Chongro Horengi says, hey dad, if I get some idea of new income way, I will answer you at next live show. Dude, much appreciated. If you can gather, this is one way you can do. You can help the channel. Share the love. Tell all your friends and family to come and subscribe to the channel, okay? That is a very easy, very free way of supporting. The more subscribers and likes, watching time, the better for the channel and better for me. And so help out with that. Bruno says the WHO is carrying water for the CCP. Yeah, I heard that as well. And I don't know enough to make comments because I just hear. I'm like a receptacle, man. I I hear. I don't think I'm entitled. I'm entitled to like make any semi pretend educational comments because I just know like what communism is like, and I know how communist parties work, and they tend to be full of shit for the most part. They look out for their own interest and not so much for the people who they have power over. So I know that much. But in terms of who's in water with whom, if it's CCP and who swimming together or not, I don't really know. I don't know. What's your take on that, Leigh?
I don't know, man. I'm not sure. I don't know enough about it. Comment, I think.
Yeah, we're in the same boat. I think
Either way wouldn't surprise me. I think either way would not surprise me in this situation.
Yeah. It's weird and scary.
Yeah. You never know quite sure about information and controlling people. Yeah, pretty powerful thing.
Yeah, politics, man. I don't know. I think, I always, when I was, what is it, 3 years ago? Yes? No, 4 years. 2000, oh man, I don't know. 14, okay. I finished my MA in 2014, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yes? I don't remember. It's been a while. And while I was doing my last leg of the race, I was working on my dissertation, and I was working long hours, and I was studying long hours, and so I was beginning to lose my mind because in addition to all of that work and the studying, I was also just listening to a lot of stuff like how to kind of alter your mind consciousness to relax. I started meditating a bit, which, by the way, meditation really works, man. It really, really works. I'm convinced that it does because I had, after meditating for, I don't know, a month or 3 months, I had moments I'd come into my office, I would sit at my desk, and my desk was just covered in paperwork. It would take me usually anywhere between 15 to 20 minutes to like get my bearings together and start figuring out what I was going to write about again. But then when I was meditating, I had moments I would come into my office, sit down at my desk, and it was just instantaneous tunnel vision. I would sit down and start drumming on my keyboard, and within 15 minutes, I would produce like 3 pages of, 1,500 words, and I would read through it, and it was all brilliant. There are moments like that. So I do believe that meditation works, creates some kind of mental clarity.
I agree. Yeah, it's definitely done good things for my stress levels too.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. But during that same time, I also listened to like a lot of stuff on, conspiracy theories and this and that. And it's just a rabbit hole that you don't want to go down because it's never ending.
Just imagine. Yeah, I can just imagine once you start, it's hard to get, and then things start to link, maybe.
yeah, they do, absolutely. And there's just so many links that, like I said, you could keep linking forever, And so to say that the world is bad and it's dominated by the all-powerful, well, yeah, man, that's the world we live in, man. You've got a world in which you can buy people with money. Then what do you expect? You've got a monetary society that values money more than human life. Then that's the world we live in. And it's not surprised that the people with money control everything else. I mean, we're all, to one extent or another, are carrying, brand names, not because we want them, but because we're told that we want them, right?
Yeah, that's right.
I don't know. It's a silly world we live in. I'm very well aware of that. So
good and bad things come from everything, I think, man. Yeah. Hopefully, just there's going to be more good once we're at the end of this situation. I hope.
Yeah, Bruno says Bruno lived in China, I guess. He lived there for 11 months, so he's got an idea of what the CCP and their propaganda is capable of. Yeah, I can imagine. I can imagine.
Yeah, they're always hiding stuff. What was I gonna say? Yeah. So, um, yeah, we're not with people coming back and stuff like that. We're not sure. Like, I know some of my privates have gone down a little bit because most people have the money, but I think other business owners, they're not going well. So
Hmm.
they're not supporting other businesses and stuff like that. I've got a feeling there's going to be some businesses in my area that are just going to close down soon.
Right.
What do you think about your area? Do you think some cafes and stuff?
Um, I don't know. To be honest, I have no idea. I didn't talk to my wife about it. I worry about our business, to be honest, to be quite frank.
Yeah,
Simply
yeah,
because our rental fees are so high, our expenses are so high, that it's really hard to cover it without any income. And even if
yeah, of
we,
course.
if we don't get back to, because I mean, when we just opened up and we were just in the initial stages of growing, we transferred over our existing clientele, but in order to sustain ourselves here, the goal was to continue growing substantially.
Mm,
And right
yeah,
now we've receded substantially. And so if we were to move here with our pre-existing clientele and maintain that level, then we would not have done that, because that would have been, it wouldn't have been productive at all. It would be very
yeah,
counterintuitive. So unless we can get back to the position of the intended growth that we were looking at,
yeah,
I don't know. Maybe we'd be in a position of having to reconsider our position of the position.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
Yeah, it's not
yeah,
like
yeah, definitely.
it's not a very good situation like we're finding ourselves in. It's really unfortunate timing. Like it could not have been any worse. Literally, it could not have been any
Yeah,
worse. Um,
yeah.
and
Yeah, I'm
so
trying to support local business around me as much as I can because I'm pretty sure that a lot of these businesses, they're just so
yeah,
struggling, you know what I mean? Yeah. And then when other businesses fail around you, that's when your business starts to fail too, because
right.
there's no economic growth. People don't have money. That's
Hmm.
the problem now, man. People aren't making money, so they don't have money to spend. And unfortunately, if you're in that business where people need to spend money, going to be a bit rough for everyone, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly, man. So
yeah,
yeah. I don't know. I think we like literally we need to open. Um, I don't know if waiting 2 more weeks is advisable. I think my wife is very hesitant about opening up because of the fear of like you said, if one case strikes, unfortunately,
mhm,
then we have to shut down type of deal.
yeah.
I think.
They're making it pretty public nowadays too. What academies are getting shut in the name, right? Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So
yeah, oof, yeah.
so I don't
Damned
know.
if you do, damned if you don't.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think you should just risk it, man. Maybe just you're gonna have to risk it.
We're
Yeah,
gonna have to risk it, yeah, or pack our bags
yeah,
essentially, man, because I don't know if
yeah,
it's even possible for us to like economically to maintain this, idle
yeah.
position that we're
And
in
if
right
you
now.
hold out to April 30, it's probably gonna it could get delayed. It could get delayed again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Delay and delay and delay. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think we're gonna have to, like I said, kind of reschedule our classes and just limit maybe the number of times that kids come in and extend the amount of
Yeah.
the period of time that they're here, just to
Yeah.
balance,
I'm
something of
sure
that
you'll be
sort.
able to come up with a solution. Yeah.
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 I guess we've
Ways
got
to work around it.
we've got 2 more weeks to do that now, so
Yeah.
Jesus
Yeah. Yeah.
Christ.
We hope that the school announces they're closed so we don't have to tell their parents we're going to close.
Mm,
These continue being closed, I mean. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Because personally, I wanted, even if school was open in April 6, I really wanted to stay online for at least the rest of the month. So, yeah. Yeah. So hopefully the school will do it for us. Yeah. All right, man. I'm sorry, man, but I'm starting to fade a little bit. Actually, it's
Yeah,
getting pretty late for
sure. It's
me now.
11:30. Like we've been way past our broadcasting time. Really, 30 minutes
Yeah,
past.
it's been great though, man. Yeah, you just get chatting, and yeah, I've been
Absolutely.
enjoying it, man. Just chatting away,
Likewise,
actually.
man.
Yeah.
Likewise, Leigh. Thanks for agreeing to do this and coming on and bringing all your insight and ideas, man. It was very,
Yeah,
very
no worries.
educational.
Anytime, man. Anytime. Stay in contact with me over Facebook or whatever. Now and again, too.
Absolutely. And maybe let's do this one more time when like the dust settles and things are back to normal. We can talk about our experiences of how things have changed and moved forward or whatever.
Yeah, I'd love to do that once things get better. We'll have something. Hopefully, it won't be so doom and gloomy too.
Yeah, right. There's going to be a bit more upbeat stuff to talk about.
Yeah, it's been a bit morbid tonight, but oh well, man. It's been good. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much, sir.
No
Wish you
worries,
all the
mate.
best.
I'll
Have a good
speak to you
evening.
later. You too. Sleep well, man.
All right.
Catch up.
Bye-bye. Well, that was a very good conversation with Leigh. Nice talk, Dad. And Uncle. Good night. Have a good night, man. Very good chat. Thank you all for tuning in. If you're new here, if you are old here, not in the age, but just being present here, make sure to give us the thumbs up, hit the like button, always helps. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button. Remember to share the love, spread the love of the Live in Korea channel, get more people to come and support the channel. That's the best way you can support. If you are in Ulsan, we are still looking for a full-time teacher. People are running scared. People are going back home or they're staying in their positions. They're moving different places. I've interviewed like 2 people right now. One of them decided to not move here because they wanted to keep their old job. Another one decided to move to the capital. And so we're like, I was panicking a little bit. It's a good thing, I guess, that we've got 2 more weeks. Like there's always a silver lining. I don't know, I'm so confused. I'm saying it's a good thing. It's not a good thing. It's a horrible thing that we've closed for 2 more weeks. Anyway, yeah, please help us support the Live in Korea channel. The way you can do it is, share the channel, share the video. I'm uploading a video on Wednesday that's going to be directed towards people who are either coming to Korea, who have been here, and it's a video. It's going to be a video on life hacks on how to make your living in Korea a little bit easier in terms of maybe a little bit of saving money, a little bit of managing money, how to move money. And some other stuff that you can do in Korea while you're here if you are not really familiar with the things with Korea itself as a country. Thanks all. Bruno, thank you very much for tuning in. Chongro Horengi, thank you for tuning in again. Nice to see you again. Who else is here? Shizuma, I think probably came and left. Dahanen Minju was here for a little bit. Thank you all for tuning in. Have a good night, and we'll see you on Wednesday, or if not, then I will see you next week. Make sure to come back next week. There's another interview that I have scheduled. I forget who it's with. Who is it with? Let's check. Another exciting interview with Chris Tharp. Chris Tharp is going to be here. Yes, Chris wrote an article on the Medium, a very well laid out article about the coronavirus and stuff. So a very well versed man who's going to be here, and we'll be talking probably Corona business. So make sure to be back. Have a good night. Bye-bye.